on bail in London. It's 4:30 p.m. in London, 11:30 Eastern Time and 12:30 in Bermuda. Today in history, today on the 5th of March, in 1936, the Spitfire made its first flight at Eastleigh Aerodrome near Southampton. That's now Southampton Airport in the south of England. Today, on the 5th of March in 1943, the RAF made a 1,000-bomber raid on Essen in Germany. Today, on the 5th of March in 1945, the Allies bombed The Hague in the Netherlands. And today, in the 5th of March in 1946, Winston Churchill made his famous Iron Curtain speech describing the Iron Curtain that was put up between the East and the West by the Stalinist communist government of Russia. So lots of today in history relating to the Second World War today. And now to the news. A man who opened fire at security officials near the US Defense Department headquarters, the Pentagon, has died after being shot by police officers. Officials said the man, identified as John Patrick Bedell, 36, of the US state of California, died on Friday from head wounds received in a shootout with police near the US Pentagon building outside Washington, D.C. Police said Bedell pulled out a gun at the busy commuter rail subway station entrance that serves the Pentagon, shooting and injuring 2 police officers. Police returned fire, shooting Bedell in the head. Kevin Keyville, the chief of Pentagon Police, said Bedell was well armed with 2 9mm handguns and several magazines. He continued that there was no distress. When Bedell reached into his pocket, they assumed that he was going to get a pass, and he came out with a gun. He wasn't pretending to be anyone, he was just wearing a coat, and walked up and started shooting. Keyville said that layers of security at the Pentagon helped foil the attack and prevent the man from entering the building. Meanwhile, 2 officers wounded in the attack have been released from hospital after being treated for what were described as superficial injuries. Singapore has raised security at its air and seaports and several other locations across the city following what officials say is intelligence of a possible terrorist threat. Wong Kang Sen, the city's State Home Affairs Minister, said in Parliament on Friday that the alert was raised amid warnings of a possible threat to shipping in the busy Malacca Strait shipping lane. Security has also been tightened at the 2 new casino resorts that recently opened in Singapore. Wong said, "We received intelligence from our liaison partners about this possible plot to go and attack vessels coming through Singapore waters through the Straits of Malacca. The threat is real, and we are not immune to it. We must recognise that no security system can be completely foolproof." Singapore is the world's busiest container port. It lies at the southern end of the strait, which acts as one of the world's key maritime arteries linking Asia with the Middle East and Europe. More than 50,000 merchant ships transit the 900-kilometre-long strait every year, carrying about 40% of the world's trade. On Thursday, so yesterday, Singapore, Malaysia and Indonesia, who are jointly responsible for the security of the waterway, said they have stepped up maritime and air patrols over the straits. Now, around 50 ships, including large ferries carrying thousands of passengers, have become stuck in the ice in the Baltic Sea. Swedish Maritime Authority said several vessels, including at least 1 passenger ferry carrying more than 1,000 people, had collided with each other as they drifted amid huge blocks of moving ice. As many as 6 large passenger ferries have been stuck in the ice yesterday, according to Johnny Lindvall, the Swedish Maritime Administration of the Swedish Maritime Administration's icebreaker unit. 2 of the ferries, including the large Isabella passenger ferry carrying 1,320 passengers and crew, were already in the process of being freed, according to Mr. Lindvall. 4 other ships, including Amarella, another passenger ferry carrying 1,313 people, were still stuck. The ferries, nearly all transporting passengers between Sweden and Finland, had run into trouble just outside of the Stockholm archipelago, which is made up of more than 20,000 islands, according to Lindvall. He said they got caught outside the archipelago where the ice is moving. It's hard to navigate. He said, adding that he had not seen the situation with so many ships stuck at once since the mid-1980s. European storm Xanthia, which left 62 people dead over last weekend, will cost German insurance giant Allianz between 100 and 300 million euros. That's between $135 and $405 million, according to a spokesman yesterday. Insurers are drawing up damage estimates, and the head of French Insurers Federation, the FFSA, Bernard Spitz, said that the press forecast of €1 billion were plausible. A model published by the risk group Allied Worldwide, cited by Dow Jones Newswires, puts the total insurance cost of Xanthia in Europe at between 1.5 and 3 billion euros. Bermuda insurers Max and Harbour Point have finally merged. They've now confirmed that the combined company will be renamed and rebranded Altera Capital Holdings and will trade on the Nasdaq Global Select Market under the symbol ALTE. Last year, Max made a bid to merge with IPC Re, but shareholders rejected the offer in favour of one by Validus. Under the terms of the amalgamation agreement, shareholders of Harbour Point common stock will each receive a fixed exchange ratio of 3.7769 Max common shares for each Harbour Point share. The combined company's board of directors is to declare a special cash dividend of $2.50 per share, following closing to all shareholders of the combined company at about $300 million in total. Now, India is among the most protectionist countries in the insurance industry in the fast-growing Asian region, according to the chairman of Lloyd's of London, Peter Levine, in a forthright criticism of the country's regulatory system. India, which imposes a 26% ownership limit on foreign investors in insurance companies, is reviewing raising this to 49%, but legislation has become bogged down in Parliament. According to Peter Levine, India is the one place I would complain about. India is a very, very difficult market. He said that it's one of the few places in the world where I blame regulation for keeping foreign companies out. India's insurance market has grown quickly over the past decade, making it an important element in the business of many global insurers, such as the UK Prudential Group, which recently, in fact this week, made a proposed $35.5 billion takeover of the Asian life business of AIG. Peter Levine, who was in Tokyo to open the Lloyd's Insurance Market's new office there, said he hoped to increase its business in Asia from about 8% of total premium income to about 15% over the next decade. He said it would be nice in 10 years' time if we had 15% in Asia. Currently, the US comprises 45% of Lloyd's premium income, and continental Europe 13% of overall business. Well, that's all from us today. We'll be back with you on the same time on Monday. Until then, we wish you a very good weekend and say goodbye. Thank you. Bye-bye.